Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another interview. I've got Liam here. Thanks for coming on.
It's all good, mate.
So just give the people an idea of who Liam is.
Normally I like to spend a lot of time with my mates, kind of going out and drinking, having a bit of fun, party kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just lately, of course, with all this like Corona, just like to chill, just have a couple of quiet ones and all that.
Yeah.
Pretty big in my sport, and yeah, that's not much to me really. Pretty basic, yeah.
Fair enough. So how are things in the moment? Work's kind of been sprung on you recently, but yeah, how are things just in general?
Yeah, in general, they're not too bad. I still have my good days, still have my bad days, and I think I'm going to be like that I might be like that for the rest of my life. But yeah, work's been pretty good. It helps having the routine.
Yeah.
But when I have to take like a week off work, I don't like it because I don't have a routine. I don't have to get up at a certain time. Even though I have to get up early, I enjoy having to get up at a certain time and I know what I've got to do for the day kind of thing, and I feel better for it.
Yeah.
Compared to just getting up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, sitting around doing nothing the whole day, then going to bed, and it just it really gets to me. So I have to if I can keep a routine, it's pretty good for me.
Yeah, that's the same with me. If I don't have any sort of consistency, I'm waking up at whatever time I want, which is 11 or 12, and I'm not doing anything for the day, which is it's like a bad cycle to have if you don't have the regular wake up time. You're not living a consistent, healthy life.
Yeah.
So talk about, what is the illness or disorder that you've been dealing with?
So I think late last year I got diagnosed with major depression and anxiety.
Okay.
And it's affected me quite a lot in my life.
Yeah.
I've had a few bad experiences in the past, which I think is kind of made it worse. Genetic, it's pretty rampant in my family.
Okay.
On both sides of my family. I only found out recently.
Wow.
So my dad's side, their parents, my mum's side, their parents, and it's a lot of people in my family kind of have it. And I didn't really know, and I thought I was going to be the one, sweet, I'm not going to get it, kind of thing. And for a long time I didn't think I had anything wrong with me. I thought this was just how everyone was, this is what life was, but it has really impacted me, just reflecting on it every now and again, holy shit, it's pretty intense what's happened, what's happened to me.
And you look at, there's a reason for everything that you've been experiencing, all that, there's a reason why your actions reflect this way, and you look back that's why I was like this, or that's why I reacted like I did to different things.
Yeah, I found that at times I'd just get angry for no reason, and I was thought that I just had anger issues, which I know I don't have anger issues. It's just how my brain perceives it, and I just think people are out to get me and stuff that, and it just plays with me. And now I know when it comes coming on, I know how to fix it.
That's good.
I know that when you're not an angry person, I know how to quickly control it without having to snap, kind of thing.
Yeah. In a more healthy way as well.
Yeah, a lot healthy way. Before, if I was getting depressed, I thought doing drugs and drinking myself stupid was a good way to fix it, because at the time it feels good, but then the next week I just feel so shit.
Yeah, the aftermath is not.
Yeah, that come down from all of it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. So how would you best describe what the major depression and anxiety is like?
The depression is, the way I like to explain it to people, is imagine if you're all just in a well kind of thing, you're looking up and all you can see is the light, but no matter how hard you try and all that, you can't get to the light, to the happiness, and that's what it is. I feel very enclosed at times, and it's just, I can see the happiness, it's in just there, but I just can't get to it. And I'll get closer to the top of the well, and I'll think I'm there, and then I'll just drop right down to the bottom. And then with the anxiety, it's like having the that butterflies feeling kind of thing. It's just it's just overwhelming. It's like you're constantly nervous, and I might just be standing in line to get coffee, and I'll be getting that very nervous feeling, and I'll be like, I'm just standing in line for a coffee. I've got nothing to be nervous about. And My anxiety I can deal with. I find that the lesser of the two evils. It's more my depression that is still pretty bad, and luckily enough I know methods how to help me, and I've started doing a few things that are helping me. I'm on medication now, which I think is probably the greatest thing ever that's happened to me. I started to go on meds about 8 months ago, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I just quit. And the thing is, when you stop taking any depressants and stuff, it messes with you even more.
Yeah.
So you think you're better for a couple of days after, you're like, sweet, and then it just hits a massive crash, and you're just like, oh shit. Then I was like, I don't want to ever go on meds again. I hate this. But then I was starting to get real down.
Yes.
And now I'm back on them, and I reckon I haven't been like this like stable or happy for a long time.
That's great.
And I feel a lot better for it. Every now and again I'll like have a bit of self-reflection, and it's just like look how far I've come.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It was pretty scary from the place I was at to now. It's like I'm a totally different person.
Yeah.
And I feel so much better for it.
Yeah, that's huge. And you can look back a couple of years and you can be like, oh, I was feeling that way and I was in that kind of ditch back then. And then you can, and fast forward to the future, like it's surreal to see that, you were down there back then, but now you're like so much better.
And it's funny when you're in those dark places, you just can't see the light. If 8 months ago, 6 months ago, if I was looking at me now, I'd be like, that's a lie. That's absolutely impossible to get to kind of thing.
Right. And when did you first start talking to someone about these, the issues that you've been facing?
Probably, maybe like a year and a half ago, kind of thing. So I've had it pretty rough when I was younger, and then it's just, I had the persona of, you're a man, Liam, so soldier on kind of thing. Yeah. And you'll be right. Like, everything will work out in the end kind of thing. Just hide your feelings and she'll be right kind of thing. And for so long, no one knew I had any problems. Yeah. People probably had inklings maybe, like my family, some of my mates maybe. Yeah. But no one kind of knew how bad it was kind of thing. And I think I was lying to myself, saying, Liam, you're fine.
Everyone there.
You're fine. You don't need to go see someone. Only you're weak if you go to see someone. But in hindsight, it was the best thing it saved my life. Yeah. Honestly, it did save my life, and it was probably the greatest thing I've ever done.
Start opening about
and it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
It is and it's funny, I can talk to a mate about it on a bender or whatever, but I can't go to a professional who is meant to help me in this, and they don't even know me. It's not like they're gonna post on Facebook and Instagram about me and like, Liam's got this going on or that going on. Yeah. They're actually there to help you kind of thing. Yeah. And I reckon it was, seeing someone, best thing ever.
Right, and that's huge. So many people think they're above that. They have like this idea that men or women, like they think that, I'll be fine, like I've got this and that to do. And they think their problems are so minuscule compared to other people. Yeah. But it's like, again, it's something that drowns you when you're going through like mental health issues. It's something that your mind is kind of like subconsciously telling you, don't talk to anyone about this. Trying to keep you safe and stay inside all day and do nothing type of thing. Like it's like you got to start making choices for yourself, and it's great that you started saying, I need to talk to someone about this and start getting some help. So the support and understanding from your friends through all of this, how's that been?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I've got a couple of like close mates. I've got a few different friendship groups kind of thing, and I don't say a lot because I don't like to worry people, and that was a big thing for me getting help. I thought I didn't want to worry people about things, so I kind of just like hid it, and I didn't tell a lot of people I was getting help until I was like ready to say anything. Yeah. But from my mates, it's good. I've got a couple of mates I can just give them a phone call. Yeah. And I know within minutes they'd be there or whatever. And I could go, hey mate, can we just go to the pub, or can I just come to yours or come to mine and we'll just chat? And I know they'd be down for that. They could be doing something else and they'd drop it instantly. Yeah. And I've been very lucky to have that, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have mates like that who I don't think they feel comfortable enough as well.
Yeah.
And I think I've just gone to that point now where I'm just like, I don't really care if it's going to make me uncomfortable or something. I know it's going to help in the long run.
Yeah.
And they want to help. They want to see me be like the best version of me, kind of thing. I don't think they want to see me down, depressed or anything.
Yeah.
I think they want to help.
Yeah, that's huge. It's because they may not understand kind of what you're going through, but as long as they're there and they're not smothering you, but they're just there, it's like you feel like you're okay and like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, and it helps when you do go through those dark times and you'll get that little glimmer of hope. You're just like, oh, there are people out there that care, and who are willing to help me if I need it, kind of thing.
Saying to yourself, oh, I don't want to worry people, and was that something that is just like you don't want to ruin like the friendship, or you don't want the good times to kind of stop because of how open you have to be.
I found that at times people started to treat me a bit different, and they were kind of walking in eggshells, and I don't want people to change around me.
No.
I want I'm mates with you because that's how you are all the time. I don't want people to be like, oh, Lima, you okay, and all that, or constantly messaging me and stuff like that. I just want to be like normal mates and stuff, and I felt like if I told people, they would start worrying about me, and I kind of got a sense of guilt about it, and I felt bad because I was like, I don't want them to be thinking of me all the time, or and stuff like that. I want them to be able to live their own lives, and stuff. And I thought, as a person myself, I thought I was worthless. I thought I was like the worst person in the world. I honestly, I just kept thinking.
So support and understanding from your family, how's that been through all this?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest part of it all, kind of coming out to my family. I only did it in small sections. I'm very close to my dad, and he was the first one to know. And then I let my grandparents know, then I let my mum know, then I kind of like let little people know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was basically, I only came out to them about all this not long ago, maybe 6-8 months ago, max, kind of thing. So I didn't want them to worry. They've got their own worries in life. They're dealing with things about my brother. They've got their own little worlds they need to deal with, and stuff like that. They've got their own other dramas, and I didn't want to put more pressure onto them.
Yeah, you don't want to be a burden.
I don't want to be the burden, kind of thing. And when I told them, they were like, one, we're not kind of surprised. Like, you've got all this going on, and two, like, you should have just come to us earlier. Like, we're not going to treat you any differently. We're not going to be. Look, they're going to constantly worry. That's what family does. But they're not going to be constantly calling me, making sure I'm fine. They're not going to let me go out or make sure and stuff like that. And like when I told my dad, I kind of broke down telling him and stuff, and he kind of broke down a bit, and it was like it kind of strengthened like the bond with my family.
Yeah, that's huge.
And like I've never been over close with my sister, and like we've kind of bonded over it, kind of thing. Like she talked about a few of her problems, and it just made us so much closer. Yeah. And for like the first time, since I can remember, like for when I was like 10 or 11, we felt like a family again. Yeah. I'm like close. I can actually just call my mum, my sister, or my dad, or whatever, and to see how they're going, and all that, without feeling guilty, kind of thing. Like they know what's going on, they understand it, and they're happy to help, kind of thing. It's
so much. You feel so much stronger when there's someone else next to you who is going through it, and then that other person is also going through it. Not for like a bad reason. It's just that they understand, and that it's just. You're not crazy as well, like,
Well, I thought I was kind of like a bit broken, like, but I kind of thought it was normal. I thought everyone had thoughts like this or acted like this, and I thought it was just like the norm. And then when I saw my therapist, he's like, that's definitely not normal, mate. He kind of thing, and he's just like, whoa, like, it's pretty intense what you're going through. But with family, it's really, it was like the toughest thing to come out and tell them. But it was the most rewarding kind of thing. I felt so much better for it.
And I found when I'm at my most nervous about doing anything, obviously easier said than done, but once I do that, I start to feel so much better. Once I start talking to someone about it, or once I start making an effort to even to do something about it, things start to get easier. And in that moment, you're like, nah, fuck this. I'm too nervous. I'm too broken to even try this. But yeah, again, it's like baby steps. You just take little steps, like you said. You told your dad first.
Yeah.
And you kind of eased into.
Yeah, telling him. I just didn't drop it to everyone, kind of thing. And I'd feed him little bits of information. I wouldn't just be like, this is what's happened. I'd feed him little bits, and it was easier for me to talk about like that because I'm not a normal. For a long time, I didn't like talking about it. I was like, nah, I hated talking about it, but. But when I started seeing someone about my problems, because it's a pretty messed up system how to do it. So you have to go to a GP, and I didn't have a doctor at that time, so I just went to the bloody local doctor kind of thing. I had to see them, then I had to see someone else, then I had to go, because the first place I went was Headspace, which I thought they were pretty good and all that. Then after that, you have to go back to the doctor, then you can go back to them for treatment kind of thing. So I've told my story 5-6 times before I can actually finally start getting help, and by then I've started to not really care what others. I was kind of comfortable with it, and I'm kind of lucky now. I don't mind talking about what's happened to me, what I deal with, but I know a lot of people do. And it's really hard. Kind of.
It's terrible.
It's
horrifying.
It is horrifying. It's like all my depression and anxiety I go to the lowest of the low, and you're just like, how am I going to get through this? And then once you start talking about it, it just helps. It helps a little bit, and then you just do other little good things for yourself, and then you just feel so much better. And just that one obstacle, one hurdle, once you get over that, you kind of start running and feeling pretty good. And it just helps so much in the long run.
I feel like it works in two ways. First is the talking part, you gotta open up. Once you do that, then there's the action. Then there's the actual working in some strategies and some tools. And I strongly, and I know you will, urge people to take that first step and actually tell someone and talk about it, because it may feel like nothing, but it's kind of like you're exposing your demons, and you're becoming more secure with yourself. And it feels like the weight of the world just lifted off your shoulders after that first time you speak into someone, and you're just I felt exhausted. When I chatted to someone at Headspace, we only chatted for an hour, and when I remember walking out, and I felt exhausted. Just finally, I don't have to worry anymore. And it feels good, I'm actually getting help. Kind of thing. But the action part's the hard part. That's the hard part, because when you're in that good state, you're like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, going to do this. But then once you do get down or whatever, you don't want to go for that run. You don't want to do this, and you're just like, I'm just going to sit at home and drink. I'm going to do this, and it's hard to do the action part. I found that. It's a bit of an ongoing thing for me. I need to get out and do more things. And even if I am down depressed, if I want to go for a run, I should at least run for 5 minutes. And if I'm not liking it, turn around and come home. But normally once you've started doing it, you're feeling good because you're like, I'm actually doing it. So you're going to go for that run for 45 minutes and stuff like that. And very rarely you're going to run for 5 minutes and then turn around, go home, go to bed. It very rarely doesn't happen. And that's when walks come in as well. It's the most simple thing. It's so elementary, but it's just going for a walk around the block, just kind of let everything disperse. It's absolutely huge. You get out of this box that is your house, or you get out of the box that is, wherever you're working or whatever you're doing. You get out of that box and you start realizing there's more to what you were thinking about.
And you kind of let your mind drift, and you just don't have any worries. Kind of thing. You just peaceful, and you just you get to self-reflect, and you do. I reckon 99% of the time you feel better afterwards. Very rarely you're gonna feel like, that was a waste of time. I feel shit. That never happens, kind of thing.
So you're a tradie, or you're doing some sort of.
So I'm a 4th year apprentice. I'm an electrician, and I love it. And I reckon it was probably one of the things that's helped me through it I think if I went to uni, I don't think I'm disciplined enough to do it. Having to get up to go to work and all that, it's good. But if I had to be like, oh, Liam, you've got an online lecture at this time and all that, I'd be missing all of that. I'd be sleeping, and it'd be, I reckon I would have struggled a lot more. Yeah. But for some people, that works better for them. Yeah, that's them and all that. But I'm happy that I've chosen a trade because I like working with my hands. I like doing that. I don't think I could study for another 4 years.
No, it's like you're choosing your own way of doing things. People expect you to go to uni straight out of high school, and that was the same for me. And then I took like a bit of a gap year and realised, it's about doing what I want to do. I'm not listening to anyone else in this whole process. So it's great. And I was going to touch on just the kind of culture around being like a hands-on worker. There's kind of like this brute culture, it's kind of rugged and rough. Do you think that's kind of held you back, or is that kind of helped you in a way?
I think it's helped me. It's the culture. It's not like that. Maybe 30 years ago it was.
Yeah, obviously there's something that needs to be driven out.
But I think a year or two ago, we our whole site. I was on a pretty big site, and they sat us down and they gave us to talk about depression and the stats and all that. And there is a culture that it is trying to change. But I've got pretty good relationships with my workmates, my bosses and stuff, and I've told my bosses what's going on with me and stuff like that, and that was hard, and they completely understand. They go through things, they know people who have gone through things, and I'm comfortable to talk about it with them. And it took me a while, at the start when you're only a first year, second year, you don't really have much of a say and stuff like that, kind of like the little bitch inside, and you kind of keep to yourself. But now you're just I don't find that culture's there with my job. Maybe some other jobs, but I think that's wherever you go, it's the group of people you're around. If you could be a banker and you could have toxic people around there who, if you try to talk about your feelings, they just call you a pussy and just mate, bugger off, kind of thing. I don't think it really matters in the job, but I can see at times where that stigma is around when you just notice some people inside and you're like, mate, you're a bit of a prick. Your kid's trying to do his best. Stop just yelling at him. It's not going to help him. He's just going to feel shit, and he's not going to want to come back, or he's going to blame himself for doing something that you haven't really taught him correctly. And it's just going to make him feel worse, and nobody wins in that situation. Kind of thing.
It's good once you start getting better, because you start to see how the world works in a way. You start to see how other people treat other people, and you start to realize, you start to realize how that affects other people. You have a broader understanding of our behaviours and how it impacts each other.
100%.
You talk about kind of something that sets it off, or what sets all the kind of it can make you angry, or it can make you down and depressed. What is those things that kind of
set it off? Well, one is when the night after I have a big night. That's a guaranteed kind of thing. And normally when I started to turn to drugs, that was worse, a hell of a lot worse. If I did drugs on a Friday night, then a Saturday night, then occasionally on a Sunday night before work, I'd be ruined for the week. The whole week I'd be so down and stuff, and it made it so much worse. Then there was a period there where I was drinking heavily every night after work. I'd go home, I'd have 8 beers and a whole bottle of wine, and I was smashed, and then I'd have some whiskey or something. I was absolutely smashed. I'd wake up probably still drunk, go to work and stuff, and then during the day, when I'd kind of recover, I'd just feel so bad, and then I'd want to drink again to not feel that pain, and it was a bit of a cycle kind of thing, and that set it off. And then little things where I'll waste a weekend not doing anything and sitting inside, that sets it off. I'm I'm an idiot, I just wasted a weekend, what a waste of time. You could have done this, you could have done that.
I feel that as well.
And I reckon that's a big one, when I know I've wasted time where I could have done things to help myself. And I reckon that's a big one. And then just little things like little things like when I've noticed I'll snap at someone and that will make myself worse because I'm like, oh, why'd you snap? Like you could have just either walked away, you could have done whatever. Yeah, you could have dealt with that better. And I'm like a very harsh critic of myself. So when I do something wrong or not to my expectation, I get very critical, and that I find like makes it a lot worse than it needs to be. I've got a tendency to overthink everything as well.
Yeah.
Like I'll be out with mates and so I'll piss one of my mates off, like they don't care, but then I'll think for the rest of the night, he hates me, he hates me, he hates me, even though he
gymnastics in your head.
Yeah, and even though I know he doesn't, I know, even though I know, and it's weird, I can think, I think I'm overthinking it constantly, but deep down I know he's over it, he doesn't care. But it's weird how I can rationalise it, but it's still not true. Yeah. I still kind of like take the wolf in the head kind of thing. Like that's the truth, not the actual truth.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And and normally I found that once my anxiety was kicking off, my depression would just come in and just like take my legs out of it. And that's what and very rarely I'd go from depressed to anxious. It was normally the anxiety was coming, and then the depression would just come in and just knock me over.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's a weird feeling. To me it's like an empty and full feeling. Like you feel empty, like you don't have any energy and you feel kind of useless, but it's also you have so many thoughts going through as well. It's like this really contrasting feeling, and especially with the highs, or how you were doing like drugs and drinks on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on some occasions. Yeah, it's like you had didn't have a good balance. You were feeling this high, and then you were feeling this low. You couldn't find any of that middle ground. And going out, having a drink, it is good, and even if you do want to experiment like with drugs and that, I wouldn't say don't, but it's also like there's a moderation and being safe with it and understanding that you shouldn't be just doing it every weekend
constantly and doing it on a Sunday when I know I've got work. I'd get 3 hours, 4 hours sleep. Go to work, hungover, still probably pretty fucked up on drugs, and then doing what I've got to do. And it's just not a healthy way to live. And I understand that now, and I've cut my drinking down so much. Still got a bit to go because I like going out, having a few beers with my mates, but I very rarely drink during the week now. I don't.
That's good.
I normally just go out one night a week, except Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night kind of thing. And like it's helped financially. Like, I'm saving so much money, I don't know what to do with it. But I reckon that was one of the big things that I had to overcome was you can't be drinking heavily majority of the week. You can't be doing drugs heaps kind of thing. It just doesn't. That hour or two high is not worth a week of just feeling like shit. Going from like being absolutely low.
It's interesting because when you feel this high and you're drunk and you're filled with some drugs and like you're having a really good time, you're like, man, I want to stay here forever. Like I want to be at this place forever. And then the come down, you realize, oh, the way I got there was through drinking and having drugs and that. And that's a very like linear way of thinking, but that's just kind of how it's the hole you dig yourself in a way. But it's great that you kind of break the cycle, because once you break the cycle once and start finding more organic and more natural sense of happiness, it's like, man, I don't even need them. Like, you can save money and you don't need it to have fun as well. Like it's so eye-opening once you break the cycle at least once.
It feels good not knowing that when I have a drink I need to do drugs. Kind of thing. And I found that I was doing that because I didn't have any happiness in my life and I was clinging to anything. Anything that could make me happy, I would cling to it. And I think that was the big reason that I kept doing it. But now, like you said, I can get happiness from a lot of other things. And I don't need to do that. I don't need to drink and do drugs. I can find my own happiness. I can read a book and I'm happy with that. And it's actually a better happiness than the drugs. I find the drugs and the alcohol happiness was very superficial kind of thing. But now I can find actually like genuine happiness and like feel good for myself and just doing little things.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's a little thing.
And just a little thing, and it's just amazing how like just cleaning my car out makes me feel so much better.
Yeah.
Cleaning up my room makes me feel like so much better compared to going out and doing stupid things.
Yeah. It's like these called like little wins, and part of the website that I'm doing is I have this section where it's all about the little wins. So it's about like I have an example like cleaning your room, like I have just random examples of things you can do that only take like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're all just something you can do to get you a little win as you get through the day.
Yeah.
Because if your life is just waking up, going to work, coming home, then like that's all it is. If you have other things you can work towards, like you just wake up being like, hell yeah, I'm hitting the day like this, I'm doing work and then I'm doing this and then I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Like you have so many things you can look forward to do. And it's great, you just tick off a couple of things every day.
And it's surprising how like doing those little things help. I couldn't believe it how much. And it's not like you're gonna have to like work hard for like come home from work and spend the whole afternoon doing something. It's like you said, 5-10 minutes, and then you're just like, oh, I feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then you want to do a couple of those things, and you're just like, whoa, like how easy is this? And it just, I reckon it just helps propel you to get better.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So describe the lowest point you reached, or like the scariest moment you had.
So with my depression and all that, it's for a long time there, I was getting pretty nasty thoughts in my head, and by nasty I mean in my mind, because I hated myself. I had this terrible self-image, like absolutely terrible self-image. I thought, what's the point of living anymore?
Yeah.
And I was extremely suicidal. I reckon 12 to 15 times a day, the thought would come into my head saying, Lee, just kill yourself. And it was a constant thing. It wasn't like it was every day, constantly there kind of thing. And a lot of the time the thought would come up and I'd be able to just push it away.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd think about it a bit more and then I'd push it away. Other times it'd be pretty intense and I'd be thinking of ways how to do it.
Yeah, so you actually start thinking
of ways, like steps of what to do and all that. And then there was a handful of times where I've gone out and I've come pretty close, and I reckon there was about 3 or 4 times where I don't know what's happened to pull me out. And there was a couple of times where there was one time I was in my room and I've had enough. And I grabbed a belt from my room, put it around my neck, tied it around my fan, and I was about to drop. And the thing that saved me was my dad. He walked through the front door.
Wow. And
reflecting back on that, if he didn't come through that front door, I would not be here. 100% wouldn't be here. And then when I told him that story, and he was so sad, but it was probably, I just saw this like pride in it, like kind of, he felt so happy that he walked through that front door at that exact moment, and I was like, and it was pretty intense for me, man. I've had other times where I've gone, I've just had enough, and I like to drive around, and I'll be driving, and I'll just see a pole, and I'll just put my foot down, and I'll get maybe 15 meters, 10 meters away from the pole, and I don't know what it is, and I'll just move out of the way.
It's that,
and it's a weird feeling because I don't know what it is that keeps dragging me back, and I'm grateful for dragging me back, and if things like that didn't, I wouldn't be here, and they were probably the lowest of the lows, man, where honestly, I would just constantly just think about ending my life, constantly researching ways to do it, and all that, and a lot of people didn't even know about this. No, this is when I didn't really speak to anyone, and no one knew about this. And I found it weird. I'd be when I was a dealer, I'd be sitting in. I remember this one time I was sitting in science, and I was just thinking about it, and I was like, I went to that stage where I was going to act it out and all that. And I can still remember talking to my mates happily, pretending to smile and laugh and all that, but in my mind I'm just thinking, like, when we're working, okay, this is how I'm going to do it, this is what I'm going to do, this is, and all that. And looking back at it now, it's just like, it's kind of weird how I can still joke and pretend it and like seem normal on the outside, but inside I can't get any lower than this kind of thing. And I'm kind of grateful that I have been able to pull myself away from those situations. And since getting help, I reckon the last time I can't remember the last time I thought about it.
Yeah,
and
that's huge.
And this wasn't just going on for like a couple like months and thing. I reckon since the age of 14 to about 20, I was thinking about this pretty constantly. So, and it kind of became the norm for me, and it was pretty like intense and all that. But I thought it was normal. I thought everyone thought about this kind of thing, and it was for a low part of my life, like for 6 years basically. That's all that was on my mind, just thinking about it. And it was pretty intense, man. But like we were talking about before, to look from where I was, from that scared young kid in his room about to end it all, to now, I don't want to end it all.
Yeah.
I no chance would I want to. Like, I've got so much to live for. I know I've got so much to live for now, man. And it's just how funny how you can go from one extreme to the other in a pretty short amount of time, kind of thing.
Yeah. And you're like, why was I thinking about that then? Look at me now, like, man, this is so good. It's interesting you talk about like something that brought you out and you didn't know what it was, something that stopped you.
Yeah.
I think to me it's like a sign that your body's telling you that like it's a subconscious thing, but it's like, you're meant to be here, like this isn't how you go. And that was the same thing that happened to me. I don't remember what it was, but something called me out and something like subconsciously said, no, like this is not happening.
And it's just a weird thing, because at that point in time, that's all you want to do. You just want to end it all, and you don't want to be here anymore. And it's weird how at the last second you just kind of pull out. But the thing, I found that if I didn't get to see help, I reckon I would have had too many of those occasions where one time I would have just been like, fuck it. Yeah,
it would have actually gone through.
It would have actually gone through, kind of thing. And I've had some pretty scary experiences, man, and it's just like, whoa. And like a lot of the things I'm trying to think about what actually set me off in the first place to do that, and I can't find one reason. One good enough reason, like losing my job, like a family member passing away, kind of thing. Nothing of like when I had those moments, nothing bad happened to me. Nothing really did, and it's just like, what set me off?
That's when you think you're broken. At that point, you think that there's something that you can't fix about yourself. That you think you're always going to be that way. I was talking to another Jake. He was here like a week ago, and we were talking, and he was saying that he had a similar situation to yours, in which he was in his room and he was just at his absolute low, and then his mum walked in, and like that was what kind of, brought him back and got him back on his feet, and he just like was, it's a horrible feeling to have, but it feels so good when you can look back and see, oh wow, like that happened, but look at me now. Like it's hard to explain.
Like where I've become, like what I've become now, and how if I went back to myself at that point in time, I was like, Liam, you can go a week being happy and not having a bad thought in your head. I would have just laughed it off, thinking that's impossible. And now I go for weeks at a time without having bad thoughts, and this is the end. It's a strange feeling for me, because I'm not used to it. For the majority of my life, I've always had negative thoughts with me, and it's just now I think happy or not happy. No, I'm not happy all the time, and no one should be happy all the time. That's not healthy.
It's unrealistic.
It is unrealistic, kind of thing. But it's just not. I'm still getting used to that feeling where you don't. It's fine. It's alright to be depressed at times. Everyone happens, but enjoy the times where you're not. And I find that's a big thing for me. I need to start enjoying this time now, where I'm not constantly. I'm not in like damage control, trying to constantly go, Liam, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I can just live my life, not having any stress, no worries in the world, kind of thing. And a big philosophy for me was just take one day at a time.
Yes,
I needed that. But now, as I'm coming out from the other side, I find that I need to get out of that routine for me and kind of open up and like broaden, have some goals, think about the future and think about other things. And I don't need that. I don't personally need that damage control. Thinking, Liam, don't think about tomorrow. Just get through today. And if you can get through today, then tomorrow focus on that. And for a long time that helped me.
Yeah.
And without that thinking, I would have. I think things could have changed for the worse. Yeah. Kind of thing. But now I need to open up a bit more and just not think about just day by day. I need to open up about the future. I need to think what do I want to do in 5 years' time, and I find that setting little goals for myself, that's helping me a lot. Yeah, kind of thing.
And they're little goals that are not unrealistic. They're achievable. They're something that you can actually do if you push yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I want to save $1 million in a year kind of thing. Yeah, it's like little things. For me, I've got a little goal where I want to save money. I want to save $10,000 by the end of the year, and it's good. And it's every time I put money in that account, I feel so good about it because I can actually see the goal, and I find that writing down my goals helps because you can actually see it, kind of thing. And if you're not getting there, I can kind of be like, Liam, you said you're going to do this. Come on.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Actually, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, about your brother and kind of what happened with that and how obviously hasn't affected you well, but I guess kind of just give people an idea of that situation.
So the situation was like pretty messed up. He had a lot of problems. I found out a lot later from my dad, and I thought when we were growing, he was just a bit of a drama queen and all that. I didn't really know what he was going through because I think I was a bit too young to understand it all. Yeah. And I'm seeing what my dad's hearing what my dad's told me and stuff. He was he was pretty messed up, and I kind of feel very sorry for him now. And what he was going through, I would not want to wish upon my worst enemy, kind of thing. He'd get voices in his head as well, but his were a lot worse than mine, kind of thing. And with this, when I was talking to my dad and mum about it, but he'd do little things as a kid that would make you feel like that was a bit weird, but he's just a kid and all that. Like, he used to have an imaginary friend as a kid and all that. And every kid has one, kind of thing. And then when you do some things and you're just like, whoa, like it kind of explains his behaviour. And we believe it. He had a lot of problems since he was born, kind of thing. And all that. And then after his passing and all that, the big thing was me. I blamed myself for it, and that was a huge thing for me. I blamed myself for it. I was like, Liam, if you got into that room a minute earlier, what would have happened if you did this? If you were a nicer brother to him, you might have not have done this. And that was a huge thing for me. And I still semi-believe it, and I think it's gonna be something I'm gonna live with for the rest of my life. But I know it's not. Even though I know it's not true, it's still in my mind. And kind of thing. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to get rid of that. But it doesn't make me. I don't get depressed about it anymore. And when it's his birthday and stuff like that, I think this year when it was his birthday, I forgot about it. Like it's just, and then someone reminded me, and I was like, oh shit, and I'll say a quick happy birthday to him and stuff like that, and that's it. And I've come to live with it, kind of thing. And how I explained it was like when you get like a big cut kind of thing at the start, it's sore, it hurts, and all that. It's real fresh, and then over time it just kind of heals, but it scars and you don't feel the pain anymore.
It's always going to be there.
It's always going to be there, but it's not going to hurt me anymore. And I've come to that point now where I can go into his room and I don't have to break down. I can think about him, and I can think about the negatives as well as the positives, and it doesn't affect me as bad. But the thing was with him, he was like, I don't think he would have been here for too much longer if he did survive that. He would have either been in jail or he would have been dead. He didn't have a lot of things going for him. He didn't want to help himself. That was his big thing. I noticed he just didn't want to help himself, and if that was like me, I think I would have gone down that road. Kind of thing. And I think if he did want to help himself, it would have changed the aspect of it. It would have changed the outcome dramatically. But that's the thing. If someone doesn't want to help themselves, it doesn't matter what you can do. Doesn't matter doesn't really matter. You can send them away to a rehab. You can force them to take drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you can force them to take medications and stuff like that. You can force them to do this, but if they don't really want to get help, nothing's going to work.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you can do.
It comes down to you whether you really want to, you know, work for that light and start working towards it. It's yeah. I was thinking about that because I have like a family friend who committed suicide, and we were very close as like young kids, and then we kind of drifted apart.
Yeah.
As it kind of happens. With what happened to him, I feel like there's like a certain energy that like not voodoo and all that.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, like there's a certain just something that kind of he passed over to me and you know my brothers and our family. That is, it can make you go either way, but it's something that kind of fuels me to realize that, you know, I don't want to end up like that, because I see what happened to him and how that's affected other people, has affected me. Yeah, that's not how I want me to go. I don't want to go like that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found that, and I think one of the things when we were talking about before about the things that was dragging me back, I think it was my family. Like when that happened and all that, when he passed and stuff like that, I didn't share a lot of emotions. I was kind of a rock for my family. And in hindsight, probably not the best thing. I never properly grieved about it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I basically, instead of grieving about it then, I just pushed that grieving back, and then had to extend it, and it made it a lot worse, kind of thing. And I think the thing that was bringing me back was, I don't think I could put my family through that again. Like I can. There's some things that I can remember. I can hear a scream from my sister from that night. I can still remember my mum just into shock, and I can still remember I can remember this like vividly, kind of thing. I can still see the look on my dad's face, like him begging for something to bring his son back, and all that. And I remember just staying pretty calm about it all. And those things every now and again they'll pop up, and they kind of haunt me a bit. Yeah. And I don't want to put them through that again. I could never live with myself. I think that's the thing that brings me back each time, or that couple of times. It's just brought me back thinking, and like subconsciously thinking that, and my brain knows, like, Liam, man, imagine if you've done that, and you could go and see your dad, or see your mum, see your sister. Why would you want to put them through that much pain? Going seeing my mates and all that. Imagine your mates getting a knock on the door, Liam's gone. And I couldn't live with myself, because I've seen it firsthand. I've had to tell my brother's best mates about it. I was there when we told my grandparents and all that stuff, and you just literally see the life drain out of someone, and it is the worst thing to see, man. And it's just, I would never ever want to put someone through that, and I think that's what kind of keeps me going, and all that, and I think I want to keep that, and I think I keep those in my brain, kind of thing, those memories, because it kind of keeps me going. It gives me some fuel not to do it, kind of thing, because I just honestly, man, I could not want to do that. And I wish it upon no one that they have to see what I've seen, what I've had to go through. And I hate it, man. I really would.
And so there's always some sort of silver lining. There's always something you can take away from, I guess, the worst things, no matter how horrible they are and they seem to be. There's always something you can take away from that. And that's a good segue into our third and final part. We're going to go into some advice and some revelations and reflections, some therapeutic activities that have helped through all this.
I reckon the best thing for me is exercise. Yeah. When I was starting to get in my dark places, I stopped exercising, made it so much worse. Now that I am exercising, I'm playing footy again. I love going to footy training. I love like being around people and all that. And for me, exercise is a huge thing for me. And it doesn't mean I have to go for an hour just absolutely hard kind of thing.
Activity.
Yeah, it just like or going for a walk around the block,
Yeah.
or taking my dog for a walk, whatever it is.
Mm.
I find that exercise is a huge thing for me.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
find another thing I do enjoy, I want to do every now and again, I'll read. And all that, and normally I hate reading. I've
Yeah.
never been a big reader, and every now and again I like it because it really relaxes me, kind of thing. And finding things I want to do for myself, like working on my car, playing. I really like golf. I like just walking 9 holes, 10 holes of golf by myself because it just really just helps me to open up my mind.
Yeah.
And I can just feel all the worries and stress. I could have the worst game of golf in the world, but it's just walking and all that, just within, you're kind of with nature a bit, and you just start thinking positively.
You're in your own zone.
Yeah, you are.
Like,
You're in your
so
own
good.
little world, and you just feel good, and nothing can really take you out of it.
Yeah.
And it's just such a nice feeling.
Yeah. Right. Some advice. So there's some great advice and there's some horrible advice. What's some really good advice first that you?
The best advice
Yeah.
I would find would be go see someone.
Yeah. That's huge.
And I can
That's
say
number one.
that's the number one. Like I can just say, just for me, like exercise helped, like I said. But I think when you just, as soon as you see someone who's studied how many years at university for this is their life kind of thing. They want to help you. They know the tools and techniques to make you feel better. And I think once you see them, they know how to. It's like going to the doctor if you've got a cold. They know how to fix. They really do know how to fix you.
Yeah.
In very rare circumstances, they don't. But I want to say 99.9% of the time, they're going to benefit you.
Yeah.
100%. And I reckon just seeing someone, just talking about it is like the best advice. I reckon there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, that's huge. And again, that's like the first step to actually rehabilitating and recovery and working towards a better life, because that's what this whole thing is about.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you fall is to get back up and learn from that and start building.
Yeah, 100%.
Is there any bad advice that has stuck out to you?
Bad advice. I've had a couple. I've had a mate or two mention to me, don't do your meds and stuff. Like you shouldn't supplement drugs, medications, and for some people, meds just don't work.
Yeah.
But for me, it's helped. It's made me go from a zero deemed down. Now I'm up to just every day. I start at like a 70 kind of thing, and that just helped me so much. And I think just try anything. That was probably the worst advice. Was try not to stay away from the meds and stuff like that. But my theory was, it's not going to make me worse.
No.
What's the worst thing? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? It's not going to make me feel any better.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's and they're just an aid until you can be, natural about cultivating your own.
Yeah, well, exactly.
They're just an aid. That's all it is.
It is.
No matter how long you need it.
And it's not the solution. Definitely not.
No.
It's not like I don't have to start doing little things. I can just start banding and drinking and all getting my bad habits. It's because that just cancels it all out. It just helps you. It puts you on that platform, kind of thing, and it helps you. Like I might only have to be on these for another year. I might have to be on for another 50 years. I don't know, kind of thing. And I might wake up one day and I might not need it. I really don't know.
Yeah.
And I would never just rely on them.
No.
You could never just rely. It won't work because you'll eventually just see yourself decline again.
Yeah, and that's a great attitude to have because you don't want to become dependent.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, you know that you're vulnerable and you know that you do need help, and that's where medications are good, just to keep you afloat, just keep you going.
Yeah.
We've kind of already addressed that. What is something you tell your younger self, knowing what you know now, especially because you're in such a better place now?
Yeah, 100%.
It's so good to have that progression.
I'd probably just tell myself that everything will work. Everything would work out.
Yes.
Don't don't stress about it, okay? You're gonna have your bad days, you're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your days where you're in between. Just don't stress about it. And I would say, like, when it starts getting tough, don't just hide it and shut yourself down to the outside world. Let people know what you're going through.
Yes.
Because honestly, I'm assuming it's the same for you, man. As soon as you start to let people know, it's
just
like,
so
holy
good.
shit,
Yeah,
man. It gets it off your chest, and like, I think that's like what I tell myself: just don't be afraid to talk. It ain't weak to speak. It really isn't.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, like, that little quote there. It's just so powerful.
Yes.
Because you're not going to be a weak person, and if you think you are, and if you think people are weak, you're just a dick.
Yeah.
You really are just a dick, and you've got your own problems, and one day you'll maybe work it out yourself.
Exactly.
And you're just childish, I reckon.
Yeah.
And just talk to people, man. Like that would be like my number one thing. Just don't be afraid. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't follow the crowd. Don't just, if you want to be happy, find happiness within yourself. Don't try and copy someone and think, because they seem happy, if I do what they're going to do and stuff like that. And like, I think when we're all like younger and like young teens and stuff like that, you're just kind of a bit of a sheep kind of thing at times, and you just want to stay around with the crowd because you want to keep your mates and stuff.
Yeah.
But now, if my mates want to do something, I don't want to do it. I'm happy to say, I don't want to do this kind of thing. If they want to if they're at the pub and stuff and they want to have a big one, if I want to leave, I'm happy to be able to go, see, not lads, I'm going home kind of thing. I don't have that stress anymore to be like, no, I have to be there, I have to do this, I have to be following the crowd kind of thing.
Yeah, that security with yourself. It's the culture is really changing, and it's great to see, because it's not only going to help everyone find their own happiness and be secure themselves, but it's something that I think is going to help in all facets of life. Like, if you're the best you can be mentally, you're going to be the best in domestic life with your friends and your family and your children.
Exactly.
It's going to help with business, because if you're the best person you can be for your job, it's just gonna have
it just helps. Like it is. If you can just start with yourself, whatever you do, it's just gonna help.
Yeah.
If you're depressed or anxious or whatever you're going through, if you're not gonna try and help yourself, you can't. It's gonna be so much harder to succeed in life. Yeah. I find if you're open and willing to help yourself and you're taking active steps to help yourself, whatever you do in life, you've got that mentality. So you're gonna want to be better, whatever this is or whatever that is, kind of thing.
I can always appreciate when someone, I see someone trying to better themselves, and you can always appreciate it about yourself. It's good to see other people taking those steps, because there's no ego involved. We're all human. We're all just trying to work day by day and be the best we can be, and that's always something to commend when you see someone doing that. And it's always something to give yourself a pat on the back and be like, man, I did this, or I did all these things today. I'm killing it, you know. And you've got to take that time to reflect as well.
And like you've said before, just those little things, just all those little things just help so much. I find. For me, anyway.
So, what are you always grateful for? Is something that brings you back to earth?
A big one would be my family. Just we've been through enough, kind of thing, and I'm grateful for who they are. At times they might annoy me, they might piss me off, but I can always rely on them. And same with my mates, I'm very grateful, and I've put them through a bit of shit at times and stuff, and I'm surprised some of them have stuck around, and it's just them and my family and my mates. It's just, if without any of them, wouldn't be here, kind of thing. And I'm just so grateful and will forever be grateful towards them. My family, my mates have saved my life.
Yeah.
They have even if they don't know it, they've saved it, and they've all played a part.
Yeah.
Everyone, all my mates, all my close mates, or like some mates that aren't so close to, they've played a part and stuff. And like from little things, like when I'll be out and about doing something, they'll come up to me and go, "Hey Liam, how are you going?" and stuff. And I'll walk away and I'll feel really good about that. And I could have been having a shit day and thinking, "Oh, please don't let me see anyone. I don't want to see anyone." And then they'll come up, "Oh Liam, how have you been? How's the family and stuff?" And then I'll walk away from that conversation feeling 10,000 times better.
Yeah.
And it just makes my day so much better. And little things like that, like my friends and family have done, really like I said before, they've saved my life, and with that, and I will always be grateful for them.
Yeah, that's huge. It's great to reflect and realize how many blessings you have. It's and again, I have like on the little win section, you do like a 5-minute refresh list, and you just write all the good things down in your life that you are grateful for.
Yeah.
And things to look forward to, things that you're interested in. It's so, and you say focus on the positive, don't focus on the negative. That's what that is. It's really just, yeah. Again, it's just focusing on the positive, and that's huge, and that's great that you're always grateful for those things.
Yeah.
It's like they don't come easy.
No, and they don't come easy, as you would know. And it's kind of funny, like someone who isn't going through anything or not going through as much, they might see that kind of funny and thinking like, oh, mate, how hard is it to think positive? But at times it's just like that little bit of positivity just makes your day. It really does make your day, and it doesn't matter how little it is. It's just like, because I did this today and that started my day, that's put me on this platform to feel better, kind of thing. And it just really helps for me to I try and stay as positive as I can and push away the negatives, because I know it's never gonna help.
Yeah.
It's never gonna help.
And so you've already like established, which is great, things that you know you can do better. So what are some more things? You said like being consistent.
Yeah, being consistent. I'm like, instead of like when I get home, I'll be at work and I'm going to go to the gym today. I'm going to do that, and that's like a big one for me because I know exercise helps. And then I'll get home, put my feet up, put Netflix on, and I'll be like, nah, I'm just going to watch Netflix. And I'm just going to chill. And I think for me, that's something I need to be able to do better. I need to be able to, Liam, just even if you go to the gym for 20 minutes. Because once you've done 20 minutes, you're going to stay there for another 40. It kind of thing. And that's what I need to do better. I'm like, just be more consistent.
Yeah.
Like I've got a long way to go. I know I'm not cured. I know I've still got so long to go. So much to where I want to be.
Yeah.
But I think if I can stay consistent with doing those little things, like Liam, you said you're going to go meet up with your mates today. Go meet up with your mates. It doesn't matter how shit you're feeling. They're going to they're going to make you feel better. They're not just going to rag on you for a couple of hours and stuff like that and all that. And I think the consistency, like follow through with the things I know are going to make me feel better, because because I'll be laying in bed that night and I'm like, I'll just be feeling shit about, why don't you go to the gym? Why don't you meet up with your mates? Like, you should have gone, you know that would make you feel better.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny how you just start beating yourself up on that, because 100% I know it's going to make me feel better. But at the time, it's like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah. And so it's good that you know these things, and then the next step is just dragging yourself to do it. And then, once you're in it and you're doing it, it's like, oh, sweet, I've ticked that off for the day, and it's
the anxiety leaves your body.
Yeah.
It really, and honestly, just like on the way there, you're just like, you're shitting yourself, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, you've got that clenching in your stomach, and then as soon as you walk through the front door and you see one of your mates shake his hand, it just drops. It all goes away in that instant. You're just like, you're fine, Liam.
Yeah.
You know you're going to be fine. If you're not, you can always go home.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. If you're not enjoying yourself, go home.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get you can't get worse from the situation. It's not going to decline. It's either going to stay stable, or you're just going to feel dramatically better.
Yeah.
Which I reckon I'm going to say nearly all the time. You're going to feel better.
Yeah. So last question. You've already given some really good advice, and you have your own ways of doing things, but I guess best advice from yourself to anyone else who is struggling, in a similar way.
Or if there's anyone struggling from a similar way, or whatever they're going through, I find the best advice that I can give you, and I've said it multiple times today, is honestly just go see someone.
Yeah. That's the one.
Open up, and because as soon as you open up, you'll find out how many people actually care about you. It's a lot more than you think. Not everyone hates you. You've got more than one friend. And your family do love you, your friends do love you, and stuff. And you'll find out, and you'll find out that you are actually a good person. You are not the person your mind perceives. Your mind's a very powerful thing. A very powerful thing. It can make people think stupid things, but the majority of the times it's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. And whatever you think about yourself, your friends don't think that about you.
Yeah.
That's why you're friends. That's why they enjoy spending time with you and stuff like that. That's why your family love you. If your friends didn't like you, you wouldn't have any friends. But they're there.
That's why they're
there. They're
stuck.
They're stuck with you. They're stuck with you, and they want to see you be like the best version of you.
Yeah.
They your mates don't want to see you fail.
No.
And when you do fail, they feel that failure with you. But when you win, they just feel over the moon kind of thing. Like I saw a couple of mates. We played a game of tennis not that long ago, and then they're like, Liam, mate, you look absolutely different. You just seem like a more bubbly, happy. You just seem happy.
Yeah.
And from hearing that, it's just like, for me, it's a little win.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you're just like, whoa, even though I can't notice it, if other people can notice it and all that, and your mates and they're happy for you.
You're doing something right. Like
you're doing
killing
something.
it.
Yeah, you're killing it, man. And like from going from absolutely low from like there, and your mates have seen you like progress and all that, and like they're happy for you, then you feel their happiness, and it just it just feels so much better.
It just bounces off, and that energy's huge.
And it helps my mate. And like I've noticed since I've started talking to someone, I've helped some of my mates reflect and think I need some help. Yeah. And I've had a couple of mates come up to me and like, Liam, like in our little friendship group, this is not a stigma anymore.
No.
And once they told me, and I was like, whoa, like, and they're like, we used to just all our personal shit we used to not talk about, and now they talk about it. And I think that's a massive thing. I think we need to get away from that stigma. Yeah. Where we shouldn't be talking about your feelings and stuff like that, and you need to, because no one's strong enough to be able to go through their life just dealing with all their problems, everyone else's problems. You can't live like that. Yeah. And you're just going to live a pretty miserable, shitty life. Yeah. And if that's what you want, that's what you want. So if you want to be happy, just talk to your friends, talk to your family, and just do things that are going to make you better, like the best version of you, kind of thing. Sweet. Yeah, man. That's the one. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. Anytime, bro. Thank you for watching. Hope you found something good from this, and have a good day.